A temple held up by a levitating pillar, proof of extraterrestrial life in Antarctica, or a mammoth-like sea monster. Sit back and relax. Here are 10 incredible discoveries that have scared scientists. There are a number of historical monuments around the world whose architecture remains a mystery to engineers and scientists around the world, such as the Tower of Pisa, the Pyramids of Giza, and the Mayan ruins. But if you ever find yourself in India and want to witness the greatness of an ancient civilizations, I strongly advise you to visit the Virabhadra Temple in the village of Lepakshi, not far from the beautiful city of Hyderabad. This is where one of the nuggets of ancient architecture is hidden. Indeed, if you have the chance to visit this area, I am sure you will be blown away by this temple hovering over a turtle-shaped hill. But what will take your breath away even more are the hundreds of sublime sculptures of gods, goddesses, dancers, and musicians that this monument has, as well as the magnificent frescoes that decorate its walls, and all this in an atmosphere full of mysticism and heavy with history. But all this is nothing compared to the engineering marvel that you will discover there, and that has left scientists from all over the world without an answer: its floating main pillar. Yes, you heard right. This gigantic temple rests on a levitating main pillar, and you too, like all the visitors of this magnificent monument, will be able to slide a cloth or a leaf underneath this gigantic beam that magically and without any logical explanation supports the whole structure of the temple without touching the ground. This marvel of ancient architecture leaves you perplexed, and you, who are used to looking for scientific explanations for everything, are probably already burning with desire to be in the Virabhadra Temple and solve its millennium-old mystery. Now, here's an image that was first posted in 2019 on the Instagram account UFO Scandinavia and has since made its way around the internet. And as much as the mystery of the Virabhadra Temple pillar does not leave room for controversy, this image that depicts an alien face in one of the most remote regions of Antarctica does not leave you indifferent. But with a considerable amount of false information circulating on the net, now you want to know at all cost if it is not once again a fake. Well, let's go to the source. To access this image, all you have to do is type in these coordinates: 7200360S1683440E on Google Maps, and although the original publications of this photo goes back more than 2 years, these coordinates still show the same image of this mysterious face that seems to have emerged from the ice. So to answer your question, this is not another internet fake. Still, until now, no scientist has been able to give logical explanation to this structure. And even if this might disappoint you, the mystery remains as far as this phase is concerned. But this does not prevent you from making your own opinion. You may think that it is only a coincidence that naturally gave rise to this strange-looking structure, as you may agree with those who see in this strange phase an incontestable proof of an ancient extraterrestrial presence on our planet. After the icy cold of the enigmatic phase of Antarctica, there is nothing like a dive in the turquoise Italian waters to warm you up. But what are the Italian coasts hiding? Well, if I take you to Italy, and more precisely to the Tuscan coast, it is to explore the wreck of the Relitto del Pozzino, a Roman ship that sank in 140 BC. And if you're thinking that exploring an ancient wreck is something you've seen before, wait until I reveal more about the Pozzino, which is not just any ship. This ship alone is a source of knowledge for all mankind. And contrary to what you may think, this wreck is proof that medicine and medication in ancient times were much more advanced than you can imagine. The proof is in the mind-boggling number of medicines so elaborate and with such complex mixtures discovered in the Pozzino, and that never cease to freak out the scientists of the whole world. Like, for example, this extremely well-preserved pill found in a small tin box, which would be a remedy for gastrointestinal disorders. So isn't this Italian discovery fascinating? You see, I wasn't going to take you all the way to Italy for nothing. That's not knowing me very well, but there's no need to blame you for doubting my skills. You couldn't have guessed that such a source of knowledge was hidden under the ocean either. If with the sinking of the Posino you now have the proof that ancient civilizations were much more developed than you could imagine. Here are two very recent photos of the same place on Earth, taken at the same time, and which are the proof that humanity is regressing in many domains, such as empathy and common sense. But how is it possible that such a great construction disappears as if by magic? And especially, what does empathy have to do with it? Well, let's take a look at the geography and politics. First of all, you should know that these two photos are supposed to be taken on the Tajik territory, on an isolated piece of land near the Vakhan corridor. And as you can see, this corridor is the only axis between China and Afghanistan. As for the political aspect, you have probably heard about the transition to power of the Taliban in Afghanistan and all that followed in terms of human rights violations of the Afghan people. As far as China is concerned, this part of the country, which borders Tajikistan and Afghanistan, is none other than the Xinjiang territory, that of the Uyghurs, of which you have certainly also heard recently because all of the abuses they are subjected to by the Chinese government. Now that you have an idea about the political tensions in this region where these photos were taken, and despite the frightening scientific evidence with pictures to support the presence of a secret Chinese military base in this region under high tension, the Chinese government stubbornly refutes the existence of this base by providing the photo where the said base is erased. Now, you understand better how we could have two photos of the same place supposedly taken at the same time while being so different from each other, and you also see why I talked about empathy. The same empathy that prevents you from rejoicing to see the mystery of these two photos cleared up and that neither Chinese nor Afghan government has for its people. But this does not prevent you from hoping that one day things will improve for the Afghans and the Uyghurs. Even if sympathizing with the people who suffer from war is a noble cause, your fragile little ones are tired of me talking about things that make you angry. Now you want me to amaze you with another fascinating and frightening discovery. So without further ado, let's head for Hulung Beach on the island of Seram, Indonesia, where this strange marine creature of more than 15 meters long was stranded and oozing a strange red liquid. This frightening aquatic mammoth-like creature that resembles no known marine species has divided scientists around the world. Some of them are convinced that this sea monster is prehistoric, while others claim that it is just a whale in an advanced state of decomposition, although none of them have been able to say precisely what species of whale it is. As for you, I imagine that this discovery probably made your blood run cold. But as long as no DNA analysis has been done to confirm or deny the hypotheses put forward about this bizarre creature, you can believe in the version that fascinates you the most. Now comes the story of Kristen Lee and Jahaira Gonzalez, two renowned anthropologists who in their research on the history of musculoskeletal diseases had to analyze 29 ancient skeletons from a burial site of the nomadic people who lived in northern China between 386 and 584 AD. While examining these bones, the two scientists realized that the skeletons they examined belonged to warriors who rode horses and practiced archery, two activities that leave indelible bone marks. This is incontrovertible evidence for Christine and Yahaira, who have finally been able to demonstrate the musculoskeletal diseases date back hundreds of years. But what surprised these two scientists the most was that among these 29 skeletons were the remains of these two warrior women, which would probably be the proof of the truth of the legend made famous by Disney films of the warrior woman Mulan Hua and her little sister. Although it took many hours of hard work for the two scientists to make these discoveries, they can now rejoice in having succeeded in their main mission while proving that Mulan did exist and that she was as good a warrior as the legend has always told. Christine and Yahaira now have two good reasons to be proud. Now we head to Russia for a discovery that has frightened and divided the entire scientific community. But what will it be about now? Before I reveal this next find, I must first make sure you know what scientists abhor: the unknown and the lack of irrefutable evidence. And if there is one subject where we are sorely lacking in evidence, it is the subject of the existence or not of extraterrestrial life. This brings us to these mysterious engraved discs found near Volgograd, Russia. For the hardened conspiracist, these strange discs would contain tungsten, a metal used in military technology. So for them, these discs are military drones that were damaged during a secret attack on Mars and that deviated from their trajectory by crashing on Earth. While scientists who are afraid of the unknown and who still haven't found a logical explanation for this discovery are afraid of what it may reveal. As for you who are rather on the side of the scientist, I imagine that these strange discs terrify you more than anything else. But you have to admit that having an idea about the very detailed scenarios of the intergalactic conspiracists allows you to have a good laugh from time to time. Andrzej Niewinski is a prominent archaeologist specializing in ancient Egypt. He has always believed in the existence of a secret royal tomb not yet discovered. This is what led him to conduct excavations in the burial complex of Deir el-Bahari, where he discovered this mysterious 3,500-year-old stone chest containing the skeleton of a sacrificial goose, an ibis egg, and a wooden box hiding an earthenware shrine with the name of Pharaoh Thutmose II engraved on it. And even though the bizarre objects found in this chest terrified Professor Niewinski, today he is most proud to finally have proved that the royal tomb of Thutmose II that he has been searching for so many years exists for real. Now take a look at these images captured by a surfer on a beach in Panama that terrified not only scientists, but also the millions of internet users who watched the footage on TikTok and Twitter. But what is the strange creature with hands instead of feet? Well, according to the TikTok users Ali Dupin, who created the video, it is a prehistoric animal. But you will agree that this theory is not plausible, especially since most of the internet users have made the assumption that this creature is only a monkey in a state of decomposition, which would justify that it has hands instead of feet. I know, the truth is so disappointing, but you'll agree that it's always better to know the truth, as disappointing as it is, than to be fooled by a TikTok user in search of notoriety. Now it's the turn of this man from the Amazon, who, while trying to cross this almost dry river, found himself in front of this enormous arapaima, a gigantic fish that lives in the depths of the Amazon. This discovery not only dissuaded this native from going to the other side of the stream, but it also terrified him, especially since there is no scientific reason that could explain how this freshwater fish ended up in such a small pond. Fortunately, our Amazonian quickly came to his senses, and with the help of one of his friends, he was able to capture this aquatic monster and made a hearty feast for all the inhabitants of his tribe. These were 10 incredible discoveries that scared scientists. Tell us in the comments which one surprised you the most. And if you like this video, don't forget to put a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all the notifications and not miss anything of our next contents.